So you've never heard profanity used in any of the language,
No.
any of the meetings?
Nope.
Okay. And we're talking about the IT meetings that occur on Mondays within
Correct.
the last 45 days?
Correct.
Okay. No vulgar language?
Not that I heard.
Discussion, okay.
No.
Are we in a fucking riot? And who needs ink and who needs web check? And I don't think it's a good idea to be parading all those people over to HR. Moved. There's a giant ass fucking printer and the computer where you log people in. So
He replaced it Friday, 221. I've been away with it.
fuck, I didn't know. So the car's ready to roll?
If you replace the battery, yeah, the computer would never issue.
Motherfucker. So I can go down and erase that off the board. We fucking know.
We have a
That
new
is-
HR director today. Let's try to stay out of her office for at least the 3 days, right? That gets us the whole week.
Heck, he'll take care of himself.
Oh, yeah. We don't have an elevator going to the basement?
No.
Huh. Okay.
So why isn't that moving?
Go. We drove away.
Okay,
And we tried
so-
talking to Jerry, and Jerry's kind of a dick to us, and we were like,
Yeah,
I go in on second shift, I sit the fuck down. On purpose.
All right.
On purpose.
Okay.
So,
You're
I
right.
wouldn't have asked.
Yeah.
Gotta smack a shit out of
Way
me.
easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
That's true.
Very
That is so
good.
true. Is that true? Yeah.
I always use that when I would tell Jory. Stupid men.
There you go, you stupid men.
Ohio area. I've had numerous conversations with City of Columbus HR manager and City of Columbus Police Foundation board member Miranda Vollmer. My website is makedeafgreat.com or makecolumbusgreat.com or makecpdgreat.com. I've been with over 30 one-hour meetings with Miranda Vollmer, and in her is concerning as an HR manager. She states that law enforcement cannot change, and she states it's all about the status quo, and also stated that Columbus PD deleted 100,000 cruiser videos. You may ask how I know these details. I know these details because I'm the system administrator for the police department. My name is Brian Weaver. You can go to my website. You'll see officer-involved shooting that the police department are hiding from the public. You'll also see officer assault that they're hiding from the public. These happened right outside my office, and the lieutenant that was supposed to investigate it got transferred to another police department. And this is what happens in our police department. I worked for the police department for 12 years, and there's major discrimination. Myself being deaf myself, you will hear a recording on my website inside the police administration staff meeting asking me to delete records, asking me to delete FOP union videos, asking me to delete phone call log to cover up corruption inside the police department. You will see public records that I publicly posted on my website that the city is not releasing. And I produced these records for the public to see. The public records is public record number 20-1329, which states in the open meeting records, police internal affairs of several officers admitting cover-ups inside of internal affairs and OVIs. And also, public record 20-5124 is where City of Columbus Police shot me and pepper sprayed me as I was peacefully protesting, and you'll see the video on the website at makedeafgreat.com or makecolumbusgreat.com. Also, public record 20-3028, you'll see drugs, and you'll see the weight room where the police department stored drugs, and the city maintains they do not have the access logs. Officers swiping in and out of the weight room, and I produced the logs on the website publicly for the public to see. You'll see public record 20-1742, where the police department admits that they deleted 100,000 cruiser videos. And I appreciate Kennedy's statement, stay alive and free. Again, you can...
Mr. Weaver?
Yeah.
Please finish your statement, sir.
I thought I got cut off because I heard a loud buzzer.
I'm asking you to finish your comments.
Okay. Sorry, I got cut off. I thought I got cut off. Yes, as me as the system administrator, you can verify these records by emailing bci@ohioattorneygeneral.gov. I reported all this to the Ohio Attorney General, and the Ohio Attorney General states that the language you hear in the videos, you'll also see the meeting with the Ohio Attorney General office on my website, where they did not provide me an ASL interpreter. And the Ohio Attorney General Commissioner Brad Dunn state that the language heard in this staff meeting is acceptable, and it's acceptable to delete these data, the FOP union videos. And I have these things in writing from the Ohio Attorney General and Ohio Ethics. They state that the language is acceptable and no harassment occurred. You'll also see on my website, the State of Ohio Unemployment heard the same audio files, and they stated that there was harassment. So I have two different state agencies contradicting each other. The Ohio Attorney General will not investigate because the former city council president worked for the Ohio Attorney General as a supervisor, and he also worked for board elections as a supervisor. And you can look at all the records. All the records are public record. I'm the IT system administrator that's been asked to delete numerous records from the city system to cover up corruption inside the police department, along with pay-to-play activities. I reported this numerous times to Ohio Watchdog, Ohio Attorney General, and you'll see on my website I met with Governor DeWine several times. You'll notice that his PUCO advisor was arrested last month. Also involved in the public utilities is also telephone companies. You'll see that numerous government in Ohio and city agencies have switched telephone companies, so that way you cannot tell who's calling who, and phone logs are no longer public records. You can verify all this. Yeah.
The information you have provided, I know Director Speaks is online. I'm sure you can feel free to give him a call tomorrow or present your testimony in complete and written form. But I know Director Speaks will follow up on the concerns that you've expressed this evening, sir.
Joyce Beatty, Shannon.
Pardon me?
I have contacted Joyce Beatty, Steve Sivers, Shannon Hardin's office several times with no response back.
Well, I'm saying to you now, sir, that Director Speaks will respond back to you. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Weaver.
Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
We're getting a new mayor in January, so I can tell you that there are a lot of things that are going on with the city that are just essentially like status quo, as is, things are on hold, we're not going to spend money, like we're just maintaining a level to keep this city running. And that's what happens when you work in a political environment and administrations are turning over. I don't know how many administrations turned over in your prior employment,
Right.
but they have turned over numerous times in all the cities I've worked in. And this is the time of year when a new mayor is going to come in at the end of the year. Nothing happens. Literally nothing gets done. It's just,
Okay.
here's our base. The problem with police in general, everywhere, is they don't like change particularly.
Right.
And when they do, it takes a while to let go of tools that they're so ingrained in like the everyday things that they use. When you make a change, it's difficult for them to, for whatever reason, not saying it's right, that's
Right.
just the nature of the people who work
Yeah.
in a law enforcement profession.
My concern one day they'll be caught in a compromising situation where they can't play something that they have and they've lost the evidence.
Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen probably, and then they'll start using the new system.
And that's why some things I'll let go, but some I won't.
Yeah, that's when I was at Columbus, some officer went in and like to some system and erased like 100,000 public records because they didn't know what they were doing because it was in an old system. And what do you know after that? They started using the new one that was backed up to all these cloud servers. So unfortunately, sometimes that's what happens.
And I'm willing to keep speaking and take the hit to protect the city for that, to do the right thing. But I'll admit, I get frustrated
Oh yeah, seems frustrating. Yeah.
when you can see the whole thing. But
But see, look, think about it this way. So you put all that information in an email, which is public record. I like to think about it this way when I'm typing an email. Would I want the newspapers or local news stations to get that information and blast it across the nation? If the answer is no, then I don't put it in an email.
it seems like no one wants to fix the problem. And that's the frustration.
Maybe they don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
We're getting a new mayor in January, so I can tell you that there are a lot of things that are going on with the city that are just essentially like status quo, as is, things are on hold, we're not going to spend money, like we're just maintaining a level to keep this city running. And that's what happens when you work in a political environment and administrations are turning over. I don't know how many administrations turned over in your prior employment,
Right.
but they have turned over numerous times in all the cities I've worked in. And this is the time of year when a new mayor is going to come in at the end of the year. Nothing happens. Literally nothing gets done. It's just,
Okay.
here's our base.
Hey, but you're getting upset that I'm documenting it.
For your, we have, what did we say to
Okay.
you?
Okay.
Where can you document?
From this point forward, I won't tell the end users unless they ask.
Where are you supposed to document things? We already told you in this meeting.
I document it for myself and send it to the team at IT.
But it gets put in a ticket that the end user sees.
What's that?
But you're putting that information in a ticket that the end user sees.
So what do you want me to do? How do I document it?
I would say if it's a specific issue, keep a separate list. Right? Because again, we're trying not to give the end, or we're trying not to put these particular types of issues in the end user's hands, right? To where it looks like I did create another backup because to the cloud because we were not encrypting the police stuff. So I created that today.
A little different, but I learned that there's two things that are for certain about police officers. One is they don't like change, and two is they don't like the way things are. So either way, you're gonna have to make some changes. So in your organization, your next leader, and everything we're talking about today is super, super important. But if you don't make the right pick at who's going to be your chief, none of this matters. Because you'll find somebody who's competent, but can they drive the right culture? And patience, because if the culture has been the problem, and if the problem is your chief has not been engaged and experienced, and they know, the problem is probably you just might have the wrong pieces in the wrong places. And I'm telling you, if there's any takeaway, you can have the best procedures, the best training, but if you don't have the right leader emulating and modeling the right culture and holding people accountable through the ranks underneath, none of this matters. So
was a state database for misconduct for officers that unfortunately the state got rid of. I think about a year or two ago. There is a push from State Representative Erica Crowley, State Representative Herschel Craig, and other members in the state legislature right now to bring that back, to make sure that you avoid the issue of one of the things that, not speaking directly to Columbus, but in general, what we've seen certainly across the country is that if someone's terminated because they're not doing the job correctly, they may move to a different town, different city, different state, and just get hired. And if they've been terminated in one place, that is a pretty good indication they probably shouldn't be doing that job somewhere else. So I'm hopeful that will be hopefully remedied on a state level, but certainly appreciate those comments here tonight. Last speaker we have to come before council tonight is Mr. Brian Weaver. Mr. Weaver, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
I can. Mr. Weaver, you have 3 minutes. Take it away.
My name is Brian Weaver. I am concerned because I've been speaking with the City of Columbus HR manager and Columbus Police Foundation board member, Miranda Bulmer. And I've had over 30 meetings with her, 1 hour meeting, and she states that law enforcement cannot change. It's all about the status quo, and admitted in these meetings a deletion of 100,000 police cruiser videos. The reason I know all this stuff is because I'm the police system administrator for the police department. And it's great that the mayor is getting new body cameras and all that, and I see that he's getting $4 million. But it does no good to have all these video cameras and systems if we're going to delete they are asking the IT department to delete the data. If you go to my website, makecolumbusgreat.com, you'll see officer-involved shooting, officer assaulted that happened outside the outside of the IT office in the police department. You'll see the officers covering up the cameras, and no investigation is performed. Just like you said, Mr. Rob, that when the officer gets in trouble, they have no accountability, no reprimand, and they transfer from police department to police department. And that's what happened in this incident here that happened outside of my office. And you can watch the video that I've downloaded and I posted on the website for the public to see. You'll also see on makecolumbusgreat.com if the police department asked me to delete FOP meeting videos, and I also have it in writing that they wanted me to delete it, and I refused to delete it. And then I also reported it to the Ohio Attorney General and Inspector General, and I have it in writing from them stating it is permissible to delete this data, even though the Ohio Sunshine Law states that it needs to stay in retention based on a retention policy. So we need accountability on our data and make sure that our audit logs are being reviewed by an outside company or outside vendor, because the audit logs are not being looked at, and we bring it to the police administration and city administration attention, and they ignore us because it's very technical and in-depth. But I can, if you would like me to provide forensic evidence and stuff if you wish to perform an investigation. Also, you'll see, you can also verify everything I say with public record, City of Columbus Public Record 20-1329. If you look at the document saying open meeting, you will see documentation at the meeting that is conducted in the internal affairs where they say all the individuals are hesitant to come forward with a written statement at this time due to fear of retaliation taking place. There's cover up in the internal affairs, cover up in OVIs. I can play you a short little clip if you like from Miranda Bulmer, who states that officers will not change and it's all about the status quo. Change regularly, and when they do, it takes a while to let go.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver, for your testimony tonight. I believe Public Safety Deputy Director Speaks have been in contact with you, I think, on some of these issues, and I will certainly personally reach out to him to make sure that whatever is being provided is being appropriately followed up on and being taken seriously by the Department of Safety. Thank you to everyone. That brings us to the end of tonight's Town Hall on Remand.
that is Brian Weaver.
How you doing? My name's Brian Weaver. I'm a deaf advocate. My website is makedeafgreat.com or makecolumbusgreat.com. I've been shot by the City of Columbus Police Department, and the Baker investigation number 211 deemed that's acceptable. And if you go to my website, you'll see the harassment I've endured by the police department. And I've repeatedly asked City Council for the past several weeks to have a meeting with City Council members, including Shannon Harden. He promised that he would contact me, and I still have not received contact from him. Along with being a deaf advocate, I am also the police IT system administrator, and I was asked to delete records, FOP union videos, and numerous other police photos and phone call logs from the police systems. I met with Miranda Bulmer, who is the City of Columbus HR manager, and she said the same thing that Chief Ketterson Thompson said, that police don't like change. They're incapable of change, and they will not change to protect the status quo. If you go to my website, you'll see meetings that I recorded as a system administrator with the HR director and police administration, and you'll see the recordings, including "Turn your effing bell, turn it up, you mother effing deaf guy," "You effing idiot, you stupid idiot, we'll have the cops called on you." And the Ohio Attorney General said that that language is acceptable. When I went, they would not pay for my unemployment. The unemployment appealed, and it awarded my unemployment. Unfortunately, the Ohio unemployment system's been hacked and scammed, so I still have not been paid by this Ohio unemployment. As a system administrator, I also noticed that there was a lot of cybersecurities within our police system, and I finally got in contact with Rob Stewart on January 25th and provided him the cybersecurity issue that exposed law enforcement data and exposed taxpayers' data within the police system. There was no investigation. The Ohio Attorney General will not investigate, and because of this, we've seen false Amber Alerts, false tornado sirens been happening. Now, with the cybersecurity issues that I released on January 25th, I have some inside help that released me the shooting where I got shot by the City of Columbus on January 26th. And then, as you saw, Chief got terminated on January 28th. The timeline fits. Rob Stewart has all the information, or some of the information. I still have not been contacted back by Rob Stewart on my termination and cybersecurity issues that the City of Columbus will not investigate to protect its officers. You'll see that I would recommend that the City of Columbus investigate this and also provide law enforcement free credit reporting for the next 365 days, ensure that their finances are safe because of the hack that happened. You can find more details at #BlueLeaksOHIO.com. And not only do we need to protect our data, we also need to be accountable for data and be able to look at the audit log and have an audit log system ensure that our data is kept secured and make sure that the videos are classified correctly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weaver. We will follow up with Deputy Director Bob Stewart and make sure that he's remaining in touch. Our final